Assalam O Alikum WRB. Welcome to the Learning Quran. So this is a translation of Surah Al Baqarah. We started and we are resuming from the ayat number 14. Let's start. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Okay, removal of a doubt. You may also dispel a misunderstanding which often arises and is more often made to arise with an ulterior motive with regard to the famous dictum in the Hadith and Fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence, that the people of the Kaaba, Ahle Kaaba, that is, those who turn towards the Kaaba in offering prescribed salah, cannot be branded as infidels. The verse under discussion clearly defines the meaning of the phrase al-Qibla. Ahl al-Qibla. The term pertains only those who don't deny any of the basic essential of the doctrines and the commandments of the Islam, which are called the Dururiyat, essentials. For that matter, even the hypocrites mentioned in the Holy Quran used to offer their prayers exactly at the same the Muslim did, but turning towards the Kaaba while praying was not taken to be sufficient to make them acceptable as a true Muslims, simply because they did not have faith in all the essentials of the Islam as the blessed companion did. Next ayah. Allah yastahzi'u mocks bihim at them, وَيَمُدُّهُمْ and prolongs them, fi in طُغْيَانِهِمْ their transgression, يَعْمَهُونَ they wander blindly. It is Allah who mocks them and lets them to go on wandering blindly in their rebellion. The 8th verse is a comment on this attitude of the complacency and the self-congratulation on the part of the hypocrites that they are mightily pleased with themselves in the belief that they can so easily make a fool of the Muslims and get away with it, while they are in fact only making a fool of themselves, for Allah has in His forbearance and the mercy given them a long rope, but this is the provision for their being thrown into the ridicule. It took place like this since the hypocrites saw no apparent signs of the divine punishment descending on themselves. They were encouraged in their complacency and rebellion, so that the cup of their iniquity was full, and one day they were coached. Allah acted like this in the response to their mockery. So the Holy Quran described the divine action too as a mockery on the part of Allah. So this is the very important thing that the hypocrites they feel, because they show themselves the Muslims, but actually they are not the Muslims, right? They act similarly like the Muslims, they do the namaz similarly like the Muslims, but actually they are not the Muslims. So they feel themselves that they are making the fool of the Muslims, but actually they are making the fool themselves, because Allah knows very well. Let's see the next ayah. Ulaika, those, alladhina are the ones who ashtarau bought az-zalalata the astring bil huda for the guidance, fama so not rabihat profited tijaratuhum their commerce, wama and not kanu were they muhtadin guided ones. These are the people who have bought error at the price of the guidance, so their trade has brought no gain, nor have they found the guidance. The 9th verse showed that the basic decencies of the hypocrites, how they failed to make use of the ordinary sense of the discrimination. They had grown up in the pagan society and knew very well that the way of the infidels was. Now they had become familiar enough with Islam too and could easily see the difference, but in their greed and for the sake of petty worldly profit, they still choose disbelief as against Islam and battered away something as invaluable as Iman, faith for something as worthless and even the harmful as a kufr infidelity. In giving the name of trade or the commerce to this action, the Holy Quran suggests that these word wise men had no understanding even the art of the trading. Next ayah. Mathaluhum, their example, kamathali is like the example alladhi of the one who astawqada kindled naran a fire falamma then when adaat it illuminated ma what hawlahu was around him dhahaba took away Allah binurihim their light وتركهم and left them fee in zulumat in darkness la yubsirun so not do they see. Their case is as if a man kindles a fire and when it illuminates everything around him, Allah takes away their lights and leaves them in a layer of the darkness. They see nothing. So the last four verses bring out the miserable plight of the hypocrites with the help of the two extended smiles. The choice of the two examples is meant to divide the hypocrites into the two kinds of the men. The one hand were those in the whom disbelief had taken deep roots, so that they had little inclination towards Islam, but pretended to be Muslims for worldly motives. The Holy Quran compared them to the man who, having the found light, again loses it and is left in the darkness. On the other hand, were those who did recognize the truth of Islam and sometimes wished to be genuine Muslims, but worldly interest would not allow them to do so. They remain in the perpetual state of the hesitation and a doubt. They have been likened to men caught in a thunderstorm who move forward a step or two when there is a flash of lightning, but when it is over again get stuck in the course of these parables. The hypocrites also have been warned that they are not beyond the power of Allah and that He can, as and when He likes, take away their sight and hearing and even destroy them. So this is very important thing here, that Allah Rabbul Izzat is saying that the people who are the disbelievers, Allah Rabbul Izzat give the examples to tell us. So Allah Rabbul is saying that the disbelievers is that they are the people who had there is a case as if a man kindles a fire and when it illuminates everything around him and Allah takes away their light and leaves them in the layer of the darkness, they see nothing. So these are the examples. Rabbul Izzat give the examples to tell us, to explain the each and everything. So this is about the hypocrites. Summum deaf, bukmun dumb, umyun blind, fahum so they, la yarjiun no they will not return. Deaf, dumb and blind, they shall not return. So these are the people who is like the deaf, dumb, blind. Also they are not the deaf, they are not dumb, they are not blind, but actually they are unable to see the light of the Iman. So that's why Allah is saying that they are the deaf, dumb and blind. They will not return. Or kasayyibin, like a rainstorm, minas samai, from the sky, fihi, in it are zulumatun, darkness, wara'dun, and thunder, wabarqun, and lightning, yaj'aluna, they put asabi'ahum, their fingers, fi, in adhanihim, their ears, mina, from aswa'iqi, the thunder claps, hadara, in the fear of al-mawti, the death, wallahu, and Allah muhitum is the one who encompasses bil kafirin, the disbelievers. Or it is like a rainstorm from the sky carrying darkness, thunder and lightning. They thrust their fingers in their ears against the thunderclaps for the fear of death, and Allah encompasses the disbelievers. Ayat number 20th. Yakadul barqu, almost the lightning, yakhtafu, snatches away, absarahum, their sight, kullama, whenever, azaa, it flashes, lahum, for them, mashaw, they walk, fihi, in it, wa idha, and when, azlama, it darkens, alayhim, on them, qamu, they stand still, walau, and if Sha'Allahu had willed Allah, dhahaba, he would certainly have taken away, bisam'ihim, their hearing, wa absarihim, and their sight. Inna, indeed, Allah, ala, is on, kulli, every, shay'in, thing, qadir, all powerful. And lightning, all but, snatches away their eyes. Every time a flash gives them light, they walk by it, and when the darkness grows upon them, they stand still. And if Allah willed, He would certainly take away their hearing and their eyes. Surely Allah is powerful over everything. Ya ayyuhan nasu, O mankind, a'budu, worship, Rabbakum, your Lord, Alladhi, the one who, khalaqakum, created you, walladhina, and those, min, from, qablikum, before you, la'allakum, so that you may, tattaqun, become righteous. O man, worship your Lord. O man, worship your Lord, who created you, and those before you, so that you may become God-fearing. A review of verses linked together. The second verse of the Surah Al Baqarah provides the answer of the prayer made in the Surah Al Fatiha. Ihdina Sirat al Mustaqim, guide us in the straight path. That is to say, the guidance man has prayed for is present in this book. For the Holy Quran is from the beginning to the end a detailed account of the straight path. Then the surah proceeds to divide the men into the three groups according to whether they accept the guidance of the Holy Quran or not. 3 verses speak of the true and the God-fearing Muslims who not only accept but also act upon the guidance, and the next 2 verses of those disbelievers who oppose it openly. Then come the 13th verses dealing with the hypocrites who are hostile to this guidance, but for the sake of the petty worldly interest or in seeking to harm the Muslims, try to keep their disbelief concealed and to present themselves as Muslims. Thus, the first 20 verses of the surah, in dividing men into the 3 groups on the basis of their acceptance or the rejection of the guidance, indicate that the proper criterion for dividing men into groups is neither race or color, nor language, nor geography, but religion. Hence, those who believe in Allah and follow the guidance He has provided in the Holy Quran from one nation, and those who disbelieve from a different nation, the Holy Quran calls the former the party of Allah and the latter the party of Shaitan. Thus the present verses 21 and 22, addressing the 3 groups together, present the message for which the Holy Quran has been revealed. In asking man to give up the worship of created beings and to worship Allah alone, they adopt a mode of expression which not only makes affirmation but also supports it with the arguments so clear that even an average man, only if he uses his common sense, cannot help being convinced of the oneness of God. Commentary. In starting the address, verse 21 uses the Arabic word annas, which signifies man in general, a man as such. So the word covers all the 3 groups we have just mentioned. So annas means all the people, not specifically the Muslims, nor the disbelievers, nor the hypocrites. Okay. And the message delivered by the verse is اعبدوا ربكم, worship your Lord. The Arabic word ibadah, worship, connotes expending all energies one has in total obedience to somebody and shunning all disobedience out of one's awe and reverence. We have earlier explained the meaning of the word Rabb, one who gives nurture. Let us add the choice of this particular name from among the beautiful names of Allah is very meaningful in the present context. For the affirmation has thus been combined with the argument in the very short sentence. The word Rabb indicates that only He is or can be worthy of being worshipped. He is the final and the absolute cause of nurturing man, who changes man through the gradual stages of the development from a drop of water into the healthy, sentient, and the rational being, and who provides the mean of his sustenance and growth. This truth is so obvious that even an ignorant or the intellectually dull man would, on a little reflection, not fail to see and admit that such a power of nurturing can belong only to Allah and not to created being. What can creature do man for man when it owes its very existence to the Creator? Can a needy one come to the help of another? And if it appear to be doing so, the act of nurturing must in reality of ultimately belong to the one being on whom both have to depend in order to exist at all. So, who else but the Rabb can be worthy of adoration and worship? The sentence is addressed to all three groups of the man, and for each it has different meaning. Abudu Rabbakum, worship your Lord. The phrase calls upon the disbelievers to give up the worshipping created being and to turn to the Creator. It asks the hypocrites to be sincere and true in their faith. It commands the sinning Muslims to change their ways and try to be perfect in their obedience to Allah. And it encourages the God-fearing Muslims to be steadfast in their worship and obedience and to make a greater effort in a way of Allah. Ruhul Bayan. The two verses proceed to the enrolled upon. Okay, so that's it for today. Inshallah, we will resume this video tomorrow, inshallah, from the 21st, and we will finish the 21st in the next video. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.